I'm back. Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute. It hasn't been a minute, but if you're here for the design videos, it's been a minute, my bad. If you're new, my name is Corey, nice to meet you. And today we're doing a design with me. I am a designer, art director, and on this channel I talk about a bunch of things, creativity, design, all that stuff, but I also do some for entertainment purposes. Please check out the rest of my videos. You might want to stick around if I do say so myself. I'm just saying. And to the rest of you, you know the drill. A drink and a snack. Pause me right now if you need one. This is what we're working with today over here. Yes, pickles and a Diet Coke. You're not here. You can't smell it. I better not see not one comment about it. Oh, that was a treat for you. Anyway, before I jump right into what we're designing today, I have to acknowledge the change in video format. This is not permanent. I'm just trying this out. As y'all know, I have been overwhelmed. These videos overwhelm me. They're fun, but the filming and editing and all that, it's a lot. Imagine filming your client work and editing it and then making it entertaining and uploading it for maybe 2 people to see or 1,000. I don't know. Share this video right now. Either way, it's a lot of work. I get overwhelmed. So I tried out a different format for the next couple of videos. I did the design already. The design is done. And now I'm just narrating my experience. I know y'all love when I do it as I go so you can hear my thought process as I'm designing. I will never get rid of that permanently. Just for right now, this has to be it. Love you. But this is what we're doing, okay? Regardless, let me know what you think about it below. If you absolutely hate it and we get a unanimous decision, I will never do it again. I am here to serve. Now we, and when I say we, I mean Joe and I, we've come up with a new game. The game is called Give Me a Brief. Quick rules. At any point in time, I don't care what we're doing. If we are at dinner, if we're in the middle of work, if we are out late at the bar like we were when I got this first one, he is able to pop up and give me a brief of his liking. Here's what we got today. Please excuse my appearance, okay?
Okay, for a second, let me talk to you real quick. Can you look at the camera? All right, cool, so brief. So what I need you to do, I need you to give me a toilet paper brand for people who have chronic diarrhea.
Got you. So that's our brief. Absolutely ridiculous if you ask me. Leave it to a man to start off with that. Cause why? Anyway, that's what we're working with. The rules are simple. I cannot deny the brief. 2, I came up with this rule on my own. We didn't know what time limit to give me, but I'm establishing a 2-hour time limit. So I only have 2 hours to complete said brief. And 3, I don't know what 3 was. I don't think there was a 3. Those are the rules. And if I don't complete it within the 2 hours, the consequences are none. You can't fight me. Anyway, all that said, we're doing a toilet paper brand for people with chronic diarrhea. For the sake of this video, I don't want to keep saying that word, so I'm going to say incontinence, but y'all know what I'm saying. So we need a name. Of course, to get a name for our brand, my first thought was to go to ChatGPT. So I went to my boy ChatGPT and they provided a list of 20 names like I asked. And there were a few in here that I liked. The overwhelming majority were corny and ugly. But I ended up going with Calm Cleanse because I felt like I could just envision that. And I also liked the idea of that name rather than calling it like Poopy something or whatever other weird names were on there. I wanted the brand to be more empowering because it's not something to be ashamed of, and that's what we're getting at. That's what the brand, I think, that's the stance they're gonna take. We want you to feel less ashamed. We want you to feel more clean and more comfortable and more secure, you know? So once I got the name, I went right into brainstorming immediately. I am someone that could take a very, very, very long time thinking. A very long time. And we are on a time limit. And I don't know if y'all remember when I was doing those design videos before, I kept saying, oh yeah, 2 hours. And I would end up taking however long I was taking. No, I'm serious this time. So brainstorming immediately. I opened up Milanote. Milanote is basically like a whiteboard type of platform. You could dump anything on there. I have so many different boards for different projects, different ideas, different everything, just with all my thoughts. It's my favorite place to brainstorm. So I went ahead and opened that up and I got busy. I started with a word brain dump. So I did also ask ChatGPT to give me like a mission statement. And from there, I went ahead and created just off the top of my head what types of ideas I had for the visual identity. I knew that I absolutely did not want to use brown because come on, we don't got to do that. I knew immediately that I wanted to incorporate the color lavender. Because lavender is associated with calming, I also found out that I don't know how to spell lavender. Okay. I knew I didn't want any character logos because I wanted it to be quirky, but I didn't want it to be childish. I didn't want it to look like this is specifically for children, but I did want the quirky feel. I wanted it to be able to be serious at times, not too serious, but like, we gonna handle business while you handle business. You get me? Like I said before, I wanted people to feel unashamed. I wanted it to give the vibe of being clean and soothing and comfortable and all that stuff. I also wanted it to be available on the go, and that's something for me to think about with the mock-ups because, if you have that problem, you're gonna need something outside the house, something for your purse. So I do need to consider that when doing mock-ups. Like I told y'all, the mock-ups are important here just to like really push the point home. I definitely want it to be for all ages. I'll get more into that later. Essentially, this list and this board is a bunch of me identifying, like, if I had this problem, if I was the target audience, what would I like to see? In my research and brainstorming, I went ahead and looked at other bathroom brands and medical brands to get some, just to get the ideas flowing. I will say, I don't even know if this brand has a medical component to it. Is there medicine in I don't know. All I know is toilet paper and the issue it's solving. We clearly did not do a sufficient discovery session, but we're here now. Anyway, I go into looking at images like I usually do, again, to get the ideas flowing, picking out things that I like as far as the color, type, how it's presented, anything like that. If I like it, I'm pulling it. If it's relevant to this, I'm pulling it. If I almost kind of like it and I feel like it could be useful and I might get an idea from it later, I'm pulling it. Everything went into Milanote, and in the midst of all of this, I did turn to pen and paper to start sketching some ideas and hurry up and get them out of my brain before I forget them. Let me be the one to tell you and show and prove every time. Your sketches do not need to be groundbreaking. They don't need to be great. They need to be okay. They need to be decent. They need to get the point across, but they don't need to be great. I also went ahead and got my ideas on color out immediately. I typically do go for the brighter, bolder colors, as you see in a lot of my work all the time. This time was no different. So, like I said before, I already knew I wanted that lavender color in there. I also added an orange and a dark teal, and I did associate these swatches that I was pulling with the keywords that I was getting them from or why I added them there. So lavender was for calming, the orange was for happiness, and the dark teal was for, I put serious-ish, but it was meant to be something that is more grounding. Obviously, or maybe not so obvious, I felt like I needed a darker color in the palette regardless, but I did want something that could take those brighter colors and flip them and make them something a little more serious when the time came to it. Because I do want that option because it is a serious topic or issue or whatever. Of course, my initial thoughts with color won't ever be the end all be all. That would be very rare for me to just know what colors I want off rip. But when it comes to a brain dump, I'm going to brain dump. Every single thought I got is getting out of my brain. It's going to go down either in Milanote or on that paper. No idea is silly over here. You'd be surprised what you could pull out of the trash. Now that I feel like I've wasted enough time just thinking, it's probably time to make something. So I went over to my personal favorite place, of course, Envato Elements. If you don't know, Envato Elements is the greatest place on earth. It is a website where you can find basically any asset you need to create anything. There's stock video, graphic templates, fonts, audio. Just look. I have links to that down below, and there might be a little treat for you in there as well. Now, I could sit on here for hours and hours looking at typefaces, but I only looked for 10 minutes. So as I was looking, I pulled some that I felt like resonated and threw those in the Milanote as well. I also downloaded them to my computer so I could try them out once I'm building out the logo. I wanted to find something, again, that brought in that quirkiness, that cheekiness of what the brand or what the product is, but I definitely wanted it to not be cartoonish. As you can see, I selected a couple that were a little cartoonish, but I gotta try it. I gotta try everything. Now on to the fun part. Let's design the logo. I did all that talking and forgot about my snack. Ugh, why can't I open? Oh, bro, can you hear me chewing? Excuse me, pardon the quick commercial break. So while I was picking out fonts, I basically immediately knew what I was going to use as the base for this brand or for this logo, but I just had to try some others. It's always best to go ahead and see what else there is. And I did end up having to choose between two typefaces, but I ended up going with my original thought, which was Hago. Hago, Hago, I don't know. Take a vote in the comments and let me know which one y'all think it is, because I don't have a clue. Not only did this typeface resemble some of the things that I had in my sketches, like the characters kind of resembled what I had in my sketch, at least a tiny bit in my head, whatever. But I already had thoughts on how I wanted to manipulate the characters in order to push the whole shit further. No way. If you look at the A character in the typeface, I saw a toilet. I don't know if you saw a toilet, but I did. So while I was designing, I was manipulating to find the toilet. If you see it, you see it. If you don't see it, it's like an Easter egg. Like the staple in Staples or something. I keep playing around with the type. Once again, we do want it to be a little more cheeky. And so I did want to have a lot of curves and things like that in the type, or a combination of curves and movement and standard sans serif characters. I think the curves and movement also lends to just the nature of toilet paper and other movements. Anyway, let me just go ahead and give y'all a little design time lapse. I know y'all like those. And me too, I need a break. Can I push through?
Look, saint versus sinners, the poor versus riches, top ramen place versus 5-star dinners. Wonder why I fit in, the humblest beginnings. Had to take some losses before I saw my first winnings. Silver line grinning, poverty line thinning. My life is like a movie and the plot just thickened. Came from broken homes trying to break the old traditions. Left my old ways for my future acquisitions. I know, no such thing as playing both sides. I know, life is better in the dope ride. I know, the water better in the low tide. Music better amplified, staying down for upsides. I know, no such thing as playing both sides. I know, the life is better in the dope ride. I know, the water better in the low tide. Music better amplified, staying down for upsides. I know. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know. Came up off the ignorance, coming from a family drunk cycle and it's belligerent. Me, I sip a little bit, maybe a little more, just trying to keep a score. 2 cups in and knowing my liver sore, and knowing I'm meant to soar, and knowing I'm meant for more. Rewriting destiny right when I hit record. Patching up the trauma, these lyrics is Neosporin. I rose from the concrete away, but it came with thorns. I know. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know. I know, no such thing as playing both sides. I know, life is better in the dope ride. I know, the water better in the low tide. Music better amplified, staying down for upsides. I know, no such thing as playing both sides. I know, the life is better in the dope ride. I know.
Well, in retrospect, and I'm looking at it right now, customizing both the C and the L like that makes this look like this is a toilet paper brand for people who have incontinence while at Disney World. I probably should have did a little less to one of them, but here we are. I knew I wanted to include some type of graphic element in the brand because I thought about it when I was doing my sketches on paper. And so basically I made shapes that mimic the flow of the characters in the logo, that curvy look, all those curvy lines and loops. And I made them dashed because they are a nod to the perforation of toilet paper. And I'm not joking. At this point, we're about 75 minutes in, so it's time to pull this all together. I started adjusting my color palette as I saw fit, but it generally stayed the same from my initial ideas or in that area, but just with some minor adjustments. And when you start making little boards like this and you start testing out your color combos and adding photos and making mini ads and things like that, that's when you get excited. That's when I'm like, okay, this is real. We need a commercial. Where's the team? You'll notice I did use photos of an older demographic in this part of the design. And like I mentioned earlier, I wanted this to be for all ages, because while I initially and immediately thought like, yeah, an older demographic will probably be the primary audience for this product, at the end of the day, everybody poops. Everybody poops. So our audience is wide. So I threw old girl in there too. I like how this is looking. And of course, I went ahead and did some mock-ups for y'all. No, seriously. Without further ado, here is Calm Cleanse. for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below and give me a thumbs up. And the emoji for this video, if you know, you know, you can go ahead and leave me a, you know what to leave. You know what emojis to leave down below. Leave that down below, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.